And here's where it gets even more beautiful. Is you then have, well, I'm going to walk you through this in a moment, but then you then have the next layer, which is what we call subsystems. Now, the subsystems are incredibly useful because what Denise was pointing out earlier was that, hang on, I'm not sure, I need more detail on that specific bit on terms of pricing. So this is where you then have another section around pricing and you have another system that relates specifically to pricing. Does that make sense? So, let's do this right here, right now. Should we do it live?
Yeah.
Okay, so in terms of pricing then, what are the key things that you need to look out for and identify?
In terms of relative to the location, you need to, well, I look for the best deals you say, so below market value.
Yeah, so below market value. Yeah, what else? How do I know what market value is?
So below its true value.
How do I know what true value is?
Compared to the other properties on the street.
Comparisons?
Yeah.
Yeah, how else could I know that it's what the true value is?
Compared to capital appreciation.
Yeah.
In the town and the area.
What else?
Also, sold prices. Should we say that?
Yeah, kind of in the comparisons region. Okay, good. What else? Where can I check for that information?
Online, you can check Rightmove, Supla, property data, the number of AI attentions. You could check prices.
Mm-hmm. And what do I need to know about comparisons and capital appreciation that's going to be critical to the next step for me?
You need to know that to know, I guess, where to start from. Does that make sense?
Yeah. So you could have something like. So, by the way, do you need to be somewhat creative when it comes to pricing, anchoring, looking at new opportunities?
Yes, definitely.
Okay, good. So in your pricing formula, then you have the 3 C's. Comparisons, what is the capital appreciation? In other words, the capital appreciation is, well, you're buying this property for £200,000 now, but based upon the history and the data over the last 10 years and future forecasting, then actually it's not going to be worth £200,000 in 10 years, it's going to be worth £270,000. And here's the thing, how you take it to the next level. If you're creative and you turn that from, let's say, a 2-bed house into a 4-bed house, actually it doesn't go up from 200 to 270, but now it goes up to 420. You see the difference? And that's all because you followed these 3 steps. 1, you've got comparison. 2, you've looked at the typical level of capital appreciation. And 3, you've looked at all of the different creative solutions in order to get even more financial success on the other side.
Yeah.
You with me?
Yeah.
And then, what was the A? Is this making sense to you guys, by the way?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Then you got the A, which is? Assessment. Alright, I'm here. Assessment. Investment return. Alright, so let's skip one. Deliverables, what is it that you're going to do for them? What are the key things that you're going to do?
So I'm going to manage their purchase from beginning to end.
Yeah, manage. Purchase, yeah.
With their project, let's say.
Yeah. Yeah, what does that involve? Notice the questions that I'm asking, by the way, because these are the questions that you're going to ask of yourselves, okay? Because this is what's going to get you in your creative flow in order to get stuff down and then create a magnificent solution on the other end. Go ahead.
I'm going to be delivering a good cash flowing asset.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, cash flowing asset, yeah.
I'm going to.
But how do you know you've got a good cash? Like, what are the steps to get to a good cash flowing asset? What are the steps that you're going to take? What are you going to look after?
Well, I'm going to be managing property. To link to that.
Mm-hmm.
So managing So post-project management, does that make sense?
Well, it may kind of, but not clearly.
I understand what you're saying. It's just
Process,
Yeah,
right?
to achieve the end value of that refurb
Mhm.
project.
Good. So then you could have another subsystem around the late process, where you look at, okay, so what are we going to cover in terms of deliverables is we're going to manage the legislation process. We're going to manage the activity of finding, sourcing, vetting, instigating the tenancy, setting up the contracts and all of that sort of good stuff. And then we're also going, once the tenants are in there and we've done that initial activity and saves you several hours, by the way, then we're going to manage the tenants process right the way through so that they're secure, they're consistently paying on time with no hesitation or no interaction from you. We're managing that whole process. We're dealing with any voids, etc., so that you get a guaranteed, assured and consistent rent. And what happens when the termination or the contract is then over, we then deal with the whole exit process, so that, not like most other sort of deal sources or experts, they would just like, you know, like leave you dry. We would actually identify what is the exit strategy for you and how you can actually pull more money out of that property so that you can go and live that fantastic holiday life in Barbados and do the things that you want to do. Make sense? So that's the kind of process, and that's how you create your mainframe system, and then off that you can create a subsystem and another subsystem. Does that make sense?
yeah.
All right, cool. Give Ellie a round of applause.
I just want to add, like, just seeing you go from A to Z like that, it's, I wouldn't say I've devalued my service, but it's amplified it to a point where what I'm doing is actually very viable. And it's very impactful. So yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
It's a lot, and that doesn't even cover everything that you do.
Yeah.
He's just touched on the bit about, you know, the tenancy. Like, I was just thinking, like, the fact that you help me get the property, and you help me do whatever needs to be done to the property.
Yeah.
Then you will manage it. After that, should I choose to keep it?
Yeah.
Dude,
Yeah.
you do a lot.
Yeah.
You do a lot. That's good.
Yeah. Perfect.
Yeah.
Any questions on that?
No, I'll take pictures of that.
Yeah. Yeah, you definitely want to take pictures of that because that's a good kind of framework that you can then use in order to kickstart yourself and or evaluate further down the line and add in the extra layers.